Hi, everyone. So it's the 14th of July 2017, and there's only 9 days to go to what is probably my favourite day of the year, July the 23rd, which for thousands, probably tens of thousands of years, has been known as the most powerful day of the year, of any year. Now, there's a whole history behind that, which I'm not going to go into now. My experience has been the 23rd of July has always been a special day. Not necessarily the most overtly spectacular day, not necessarily the most, dramatic like Christmas or New Year or anything like that. But it's always had, and the only word I can use for it, a certain magic, a certain elegance, a certain feeling, energy about it, a quality to it that has made it, if you're open to it and aware of it, has made it an incredible day, a beautiful day, and a great day to do anything that really is opening up to more of who you are. I've always found when I run a workshop on the 23rd or do a consultation or anything that I normally do to, share my gifts with the world, the 23rd, it's always just jumped out. And in some ways, people have come, drawn without even knowing why, to that particular event. Often more than would normally come if I normally just promote something out there. And there's this quality, this just clarity and beauty about the day. Now, clarity and beauty are not things to slough off at the moment. In the world at the moment, there is so much going down in terms of finger pointing, creating confusion, picking targets, trying to stay low, there's just a lot going on politically, energetically, emotionally, in business. There's immense creativity going on in the world at the moment as well. But it's not grabbing the headlines, and it's not, for those of you who really respond to the challenge of growth, whether that be in business or family or, in your endeavors spiritually or helping other people, or any area of life, sport, in sport particularly, it can just bring that out, that quality that you bring to the table, and give you a subtle but very powerful glimpse of what is possible and what can happen. And this year, with so much going on, it'd be so easy, or so much, and I mean going on, just going on, because people feel threatened or unsure or open and vulnerable to change, and without really knowing whether it's going to work out and where it's heading. And there's this deeper quality than normal. People have always gone through changes and challenges, but right at the moment, we're going into brand new territory. I think about it sometimes. I've been around since the 60s, involved with personal growth and growing and developing and evolution, all the other stuff, including living life, having relationships, doing business, everything. And I've seen the rise, in fact, I was part of the rise of the alternative scene and the new age. And now I'm looking back at its demise. And the way I explain it to myself and the people I work with is the new age. There was some really new stuff in the new age, and that's still continuing. But a large amount of it, a vast amount of it, was the new age was made up of the ideals of the old world. It was like the highest ideals, the greatest aspirations, you know, the things that people had been reaching for thousands of years. And it brought out some of the best of that, and people who knew it shared it, and people who had no idea about it did whatever we did with it. You know, we sometimes made a mess, sometimes turned it into, as one of my great teachers said, a lot of the new age is the old age in drag. And so there was a lot of dressing the old stuff up in new clothes. And then this shift happened in the last few years, and it's really strong at the moment, where there's this thing called the new world. It's not the new age. It's the world is becoming, the only way I can put it is becoming new. And that doesn't mean we're all of a sudden lifting off into heaven and, you know, nirvana and all this other stuff that people used to talk about. In fact, if anything, it's more the other way around. People are going, we need a new level of integrity. We need a new level of the way we do business. We need new ways of transporting ourselves, new ways of communicating, new ways of respecting each other, new ways of relating. And it's not just more liberated ways of doing whatever we used to do in the past. It's really new. And we don't know how that's going to operate. Well, it's arriving as we speak. It's coming as we speak. It's emerging as we speak, not only in the world around us, but within us. And that's scary, because everything that we've grown up with, everything that we've known, even taken for granted, not only in very old-fashioned or conservative ways of life, but actually in alternative ways of life. All of that now, it's dying out. Not because it was no good, but because its time is finished and a new thing is being born, a new world is emerging. And that world is nothing like the old world. It's not so far out that it's utterly unrelatable, you know, like oxygen suddenly disappears or anything like that. It's more that we are now coming from and developing totally new ways of being ourselves, of making decisions, of relating to each other, of creating teams and creating groups and networks of people based on completely new principles. As you can see, there seems to be a storm coming and the wind's howling, and it's just, the whole atmosphere is sort of like, woo! And it's like that. You know, it's eerie and it's scary and it's frightening. And yet it's so exciting and liberating, and yet it's fresh and it's new and it's unknown. And we don't have parameters for it. Not even the most advanced alternative people with the greatest, you know, ideas of what abundance is. And, you know, there are fundamental principles there, you know, about being alive and human and being generous and using gratitude and various other things, you know, that will be there. But even they are expressing themselves in brand new ways. And the past, as we've known it, is passing. It's not passé, it's passing. It's passing. And this year, 2017, being the year of valuation, is putting us in a situation where we need to assess and evaluate what is really happening in each of our lives and in the world that we live in. And how do we relate to that? And how do we, and when I say relate, how do we do business based on understanding that? How do we have our relationships, you know, on what principles, what guidelines, what precepts, you know, and you can pretty much, and that doesn't mean everybody, you know, everybody's going to be polygamous or anything else like that. I mean, that's just, again, the old world. And it doesn't mean it's going to be weird. In fact, one of the weirdest things that I'm discovering about this new world is it's so damn practical. It's so much about bringing into this world the beauty, the joy, the gifts, the talents that we all have, our unique vision of the world, our unique vision of who we are as human beings, our spirituality, our creativity, our talent. It's not limiting it so that we can all survive, but giving it more freedom, and at the same time demanding that we use it far more responsibly and far more practically. I mean, it's completely the opposite of what I used to think back in the days when I was coming out of being a hippie and then being a new ager and all the other stuff. It's almost completely the reverse in some ways, and then very, very different. The most unexpected thing to me about this is how damn practical it is. How you know, health is about being healthy. And if you're not healthy, you can be on the best foods and the best things in the world, but you've got to face the fact you're not healthy. Relationships are either working or they're not. You know, you either enjoy your work or you don't. You know, you're either thriving and growing or you're struggling. And then it's like, okay, struggle and has existed for a long, long time. But how do we remove that without denying it and without giving it its correct amount of space in life? You know, how do we deal with people on the political scene, how do we deal with people of completely different cultures, completely different points of view, completely coming from different principles? How do we deal with the practicalities of the world and the way people have taken care of each other in communities and in governments, and, you know, without going into the blame game or the good and evil trip? And at the same time, not denying that people can do some really bad stuff. Yep. It's coming. You know, the energy is here. How do we face the reality of the world we live in? Get in touch with what is truly abundant within us. Not try and create endless abundance with endless cheerleading and talking up what's going on, but how do we embrace what's going on and discover the magic and the beauty in life itself as it is? And then bring out of that a real sense of abundance where you're truly being yourself. You're not revving yourself up, and you're recognizing what incredible gifts you have as a human being, or that you've given so much and been so successful, and then going, and the purpose of that is, and how can I refine that and take it to a whole new level without just giving my money away and going, well, I didn't need that much, so I'll give it over here. But how can you do that in a way that truly expresses your gratitude and your generosity? You know, it's not just the people who are struggling, you know, who are, you know, in poor countries or in poor situations and stuff like that. It's just going, gratitude is different, beauty is different, it's evolving. You know, generosity, courage, authority, you know, humility, vision, dreaming, all these things that make, you know, that people have always talked about being really great things. you know. They're changing and evolving. And a lot of the negativity is just changing and evolving. In some ways becoming more sophisticated and more, in other ways, more vulnerable than it's ever been before to just collapsing and falling down. And in my life, I'm seeing this. You know, the work that I've been doing over the last few years, which has been fantastic, and I've loved it and it's helped so many people, is now evolving. You know, I'm creating 2 new programs, one for working really closely with people over periods of time so that they grow into their growth. You know, not like watering a seed once and leaving it there, but really nurturing it over a period of time so it becomes strong. And doing that, not because that's where I'm evolving into, that's where I need to go. That's what brings out the very best in me, way beyond what I've done before, which to me was incredible. And now it's coming like breathtaking, working closely with people, because that's right for me. And it's very different than what I was comfortable with in the past. And yet it's unbelievably more fulfilling. And then working with another program where we're really getting into creating true teams, not just groups of people getting together and mulling around or doing stuff or being somewhat successful occasionally, but creating teams where, you know, hitting your straps is normal, par and parcel for the course. Not all the time, but consistently just hitting it out of the park. And I'm talking about everything from sport to music to business to relationships to groups to communities. You know, where we really learn how to create environments where we can truly express our gratitude for being alive and find the people that we really click with. You know, where win-win's not just a slogan, but it's literally, of course, why would we create anything where, you know, we make a mistake? It's a win. We learn from it. You know, that's how things are changing. Oh, we do something right, hey, it's a win. We learn from it and we take it to the next level. Everything's, you know, life is constantly giving and we're constantly receiving and giving back. And how does that turn up in the real world? Not just in religious ideals or visions for the future or seminars where we all get revved up for a day or 2 or 3 and then have to go back to what we begrudgingly call reality. How do we discover the magic and the beauty and the power and the sheer beauty in each moment? We haven't developed those skills, but they're being demanded of us now. And the 23rd of July just comes in. And at this year, where we're reevaluating and assessing where we're at in life and where this world is going and where it really needs to go. You know, we just take the focus off how do we get our favourite politician to hate and bring him or her down as fast as possible and get our kicks out of doing that, or vent our pain and frustration and disappointment out of doing that and turn it into, okay, acknowledge the pain and frustration and really face it and deal with it, move on. Take that energy, reclaim it, and then turn it into really contributing to this world. I mean, we talk about it, we idealize about it, but we're not that great at doing it yet. And yet that's where we're on the way to. And July 23rd just comes along, whether anybody says this, whether you ever see this video or not, July the 23rd comes along and whispers in your ear, remember the possibilities of who you are. Because those possibilities are in the air on that day. It's hard to ignore them. It's easy to overlook it. It's easy to distract yourself from it. But it's hard to ignore it because it's resonating in every second and every moment of that period of time. And if you just take a little time to appreciate it, to feel it, or to do something to celebrate it, to acknowledge it, to recognize it, to acknowledge it, to celebrate it, it will change you. You might not see the change for days, weeks, months, even years, but it will change you. And this is a time, even the energies of that day, looking at the human design, looking at the astrology, looking at the numerology, they're all about change, dying to the past, turning to the future, reassessing your world. There's the energy for change there. And at the same time, searching for a greater awareness and linking the two things together, because the change, where the change is happening, is in the physical world and bringing more and more of our life into the physical world. And at the same time, becoming more aware in your body and even logically in your mind on that day, and experientially in the way you deal mentally with what comes at you and what goes on that day. Becoming more and more aware that this change is going on physically. You know, it's not just some esoteric thing that a few highly meditative people, the world is changing, this world physically. That's why there's so much shifting and moving. Forget the world, your body, your business, your relationship is changing this year. And July 23rd is one of the best days to just soak up. Think of it as having a day on the beach. You know, you've been working inside for months and months or whatever, and then you just get a day to sit on the beach in the shade, but with plenty of sunshine, 20 minutes under the sun, get a little bit of a tan, get some sunshine, have a swim, just have a good time. Get into the resonance, feel it, appreciate it, celebrate it, recognize, acknowledge, celebrate, and let it change you physically. And that will echo through you, right through the core of your nervous system, your survival mechanisms, and get into your mind and prepare them for opening up to the emotional clarity we are developing in our own unique ways over the years to come. Because it's from that, there is so much emotional hysteria going on politically at the moment. And so much, look, just in my own life, there are times when I'm sleeping, I wake up and it's just like, I don't know where it's coming from. But I do my best to harness it, to use it, to work with it, to appreciate it, you know, find out, okay, what's this telling me about me? What am I letting go of? Or what do I need to let go of? Or what do I need to embrace and admit to myself? What do I need to bring to the table? And what have I been hiding under this that could be one of the most incredible gifts that I ever discovered that have been hidden within myself? Sometimes fear is just going, you know, unclaimed treasure, unclaimed love buried here, you know, go looking, dig, 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 you know, find what you've been too scared to face till now. You know, that as a human being, you are a gift. Life is a gift to you. You are a gift to this world. And you get to express the gratitude for being alive back to life itself. Through your business, through your relationships, through the way you love your children, through the way you take care of your body, through the creative ideas. And every moment, every day that worry and concern is dragging on you, it's giving you the opportunity of going down with it or saying, thanks, what can you teach me? Now, where can we go from here? So have a wonderful July the 23rd. I hope to share that day with you in so many different ways. Take care and have a wonderful July.